Here with DD News, I'm Mark Lynn. Let's begin with our top story, which is the GST meeting. And the high-powered GST Council today decided to reduce the tax rate on electric vehicles to 5% from the existing 12%. The new rate will be effective from August 1. The Council also slashed the goods and services tax on EV chargers from 18% to 5%. The 36th meeting of the Council was chaired by the Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman via video conference. The Minister of State for Finance, Anurag Thakur, was present during the meeting. The Council approved the GST exemption for hiring of electric buses by local authorities. And Ajay Mishra now joins us with more updates on the subject. Well, Ajay, when we talk about electrical vehicles, the first thing that comes to mind is electric cars, but there are a whole lot of other vehicles. As we see, electric buses here is one aspect. Then there are electric bikes, there are electric scooters, there may be electric cycles. So the market is much bigger than just electric cars.
Absolutely. I think the first mover advantage of this whole exercise is going to be the public transportation system, where we understand that most of the transport authorities are going to float the tenders for adoption of electrical vehicles because they are going to get a huge subsidy on that. Under the FAME 2 subsidy scheme, which was announced effective from 1st of April this year, there will be a 10,000 crore of subsidy for the public transportation system if they go and adopt the electrical vehicle system. So the buses and any vehicle which has more than 12 seats are going to have a major chunk of this the shift to this new ecosystem of electrical mobility in the country. So you are right that while we see that the private vehicles are the most attractive part of it, but the public transportation system as well as the scooters and other electrical two-wheelers are going to be the important part when it comes to the mobility in the days to come, and that's big for all of them when there will be a reduction of the taxes as well as subsidy support to the whole ecosystem.
Right. So what does this do then for the industry in terms of, first, it's going to boost demand, but, is it going to bring in a lot of investment from outside when we look at, because the electric vehicles market is doing reasonably well, there's quite a few advancements made in some of the advanced countries. Are we likely to see those kind of technologies being replicated now much faster in our country?
I think there is no option to that, Mark. If you see the share of electrical vehicles in India's total automobile industry, it is just 0.06%, and it is pointed out in the economic survey that it is the high time that the government has to focus on the electrical mobility to actually protect the environment, because the public transportation currently on petrol and diesel are contributing almost 90% of the pollution being done on the roads. So that's number one. Secondly, if you see the technologies around the world, Norway accounts for almost 39% of all the vehicles which moves on the road of the Norway, and also when you come to China, which is one of the largest producer of the electrical buses, is actually contributing 2% of the of overall vehicle production in that country. So India has to move from the manufacturing base of petrol and diesel cars to the electrical ones, and there is no option. And we believe that already the industries are in talks with their counterparts abroad, and there is no option before them also but to switch to the electrical vehicle system, because there is a huge incentive for the individuals to go and buy electrical vehicles. There will be a huge advantage for the local authorities in the transportation system to actually float large-scale tenders. We know that the 1,000 electrical buses the tender has been floated by Delhi government, whereas the Ahmedabad, Kolkata and Hyderabad is also in the queue to go for the large-scale tender. So there is going to be a fundamental shift in the automobile industry, how it works in the country, and I think the ecosystem is going to get a big boost from this announcement in the budget.
So you did mention the word ecosystem. Now that's an important word to analyze a little bit, because the ecosystem that prevails now is currently based on petrol, diesel, CNG to some extent. And there is already a shortage. You can see large queues outside CNG terminals. There may not be in petrol terminals so much. But definitely this is going to be an issue. If people start buying cars, electric vehicles, where are they going to charge them? Where are they going to park them? These are important things.
Absolutely, the whole ecosystem, and that's where the Mobility Mission 2025 comes in, where the India is going to focus on creating the ecosystem, as taking a cue from the economic survey. The budget has taken some decisions. We also believe that the charging stations will be made in public and private partnership along with the industry leaders, because charging infrastructure is one, and time taken for charging electrical vehicle is also one of the crucial factors which has to be factored in. When it comes to petrol and diesel, we are paying the highest slab at 28% of GST, and that's a major pain point when it comes to a purchase of a car, because if you go buy a 10 lakh car, you are actually ending up paying 2.8 lakh as a GST to the state and central government. But now on the electrical vehicles, you will just pay 5%. Similarly, for the batteries which are being used in the electrical vehicles, the GST on those batteries will be reduced from 18 to 5%. And for me, the biggest news point from today's GST Council decisions is that the local authorities will have to pay no taxes if they are going to adopt electrical vehicles to their itinerary of the public transportation system. So I see a huge shift in the manufacturing, a huge shift in the skilling, where you will see the green jobs being created in the days to come, and sector skill councils will have to work hard to actually skill people to actually work for this new sunrise sector.
One final question, Ajay. Prices are still quite high. I mean, they start at about 6 lakhs in entry level for cars, at least in the electric vehicle market. So for it to actually become widespread, the prices have to reduce. They have to become affordable. Otherwise, people have to find alternative forms of transport, like scooters, perhaps, or two-wheelers or cycles. But is that happening?
So interestingly, the 10,000 crore of subsidy under FAME 2 will not be of much assistance to the scooter and two-wheeler ecosystem. So that's number, because there are so many parameters like the size of the battery, their top speed, their efficiency in terms of charging. So the two-wheeler segment is not going to be helped by the subsidy scheme, but yes, the GST on that segment will come down. Secondly, the public transportation system, in which the more than 12-seater cars and the buses are going to be the most beneficial out of this ecosystem, where the authorities will get a major boost to actually come out and adopt these segments. But you are right that in the days to come, the electrical vehicle system and their technology will have to get cheaper, and I think it is where the private industry will try their best to adopt them from the foreign players and foreign counterparts, and actually try to make India as a manufacturing hub of the electrical vehicles in the days to come.
Ajay Mishra, thank you very much for those inputs.